Tim Cole with Bob Hins from the Bethel Bruins Gymnasium. And we're almost set to go with the introductions of tonight's starting lineup for the boys team. I'd like to get the names of the young ladies who sang the national anthem. Did a very good job with probably the most difficult song in the world to sing.
I wouldn't have said do that for nothing. That was just great. It really was.
Okay, as we have them, the starting lineup now coming out for the Hampton Crabbers, number 20, Donnell Stewart. And number 44, Will Jeter, will be at one forward.
We met him in the football season.
Number 14,
Rocky Kroom, number 14, will be also out there, as we had Andre Dunn introduced before him. And the leading scorer on the Hampton Crabbers, Anthony Bell, leading the team with 19.5 points per ball game. And of course, they are coached by Walter Brower, and they are 4-7 in the district, 5-10 overall. For the Bethel Bruins, Roy Barrett, number 10, will start at one guard.
Number 24, Ronald Berry.
Ronald Berry, number 24, at another guard position. Mikael Incremenius will be a forward, number 32.
Number 33, Rodney Burley.
Rodney Burley will be center for the Bethel Bruins. And Theo Johnson will be at the forward position for the Bethel Bruins. And coming into the game, Johnson is the number 2 leading scorer in the district as of this past week. And he's averaging over 23 points per ball game.
Well, we have two prolific scorers in Johnson and Bell in tonight's game. The key of this game is going to be if Bethel can keep the tempo down. They want a slow tempo, walk the ball up, working around, look for the inside man. If it's not then Johnson could get his outside shot. That's the key for them. Hampton is a little more up-tempo type of team, and they like to run a little bit more than what the Hampton. So the key to this game, who's going to win, is going to be who can dictate the tempo. The Hampton Crabbers won the first meeting between these two teams, but it wasn't an easy contest. Bethel's coming off a nice win over Warwick High School last Friday night, so they have a lot of confidence on their side.
The record for the Bethel Bruins, 2-10 in the district, 5-11 overall, and they are coached by Mike Bailey. We're set to go. Crabbers, of course, in the red and white. Bethel in the white uniforms with the green and gold trim. The jump center for the Crabbers will be Andre Dunn and number 33, Rod Burley. The officials, Bob Cockrell, the referee, Jim Downey, the umpire. And we are underway as the tap is controlled by the Crabbers. This is Anthony Bell with the basketball. Kicks it out for Rocky Kroom. Inside it goes for the big man. Dunn scores.
And the Hamptons right out in a press. They're trying to get an up-tempo from using their press. Nice pass.
Good feed inside for Mikael Incremenius. And we're tied at 2.
And Bethel is out very surprisingly in a 1-3-1 three-quarters trap, but he will use a three-quarters trap.
Stolen by the Bruins. Feed on the left side. Up and in.
Nice pass. Nice pass.
Theo Johnson gets the basket. And the Bruins lead 4-2. Foul called as good anticipation by Johnson, and he was fouled on the play.
And he was fouled by number 44, Will Jeter, the young man that was the tight end for the Hampton football team.
An outstanding football player, and obviously starting here on the Hampton basketball team. When we get a chance, Bob, I want to get into the problems the Hampton faces with having two-way athletes like that, or two-sport athletes.
Okay, we'll be glad to do it when we get a break in the action.
Rod Burley scores his first basket of the night, and it's 6-2 in favor of the Bethel Bruins. Hampton breaks the...
Now Bethel should drop right back into their... Bethel is causing some confusion with their three-quarter court trap, which is very unusual because they are usually a slow tempo game, and that's what the coach told me they were going to do.
He lied to you.
Maybe he just was trying to psych himself out. I don't know.
Ronald Berry.
Hampton is back into a 1-3-1 zone.
In the corner. Now they feed it inside. Real nice looking move that time by Rod Burley. This is Dunn. Feeds it off right side. Jumper, left-hander, no good. Battle for it. And the Bruins come out with it.
good defense. He was going to jam that ball. There was no doubt in my mind he was going to jam that ball.
Rocky Chrome said, "Oh no, you're not." We saw Rocky, of course. He's the backup quarterback.
Right. They have quite a few two-way sports on the basketball team.
And Donnell Stewart is called for the foul.
Hampton needs to get their offense settled down and get in this game. They could get blowed out real quick. They're down 8 points real quick. Bethel has scored 8 unanswered points because it was tied 2-2, and has a chance to add to that lead.
Theo Johnson will try for the 3rd point on the play. No good, and Andre Dunn clears the board. Has it stolen, however. Nice move inside.
He's quite an athlete, that young man.
Theo Johnson is all over the court. And we'll have a blocking foul called. This one will go against Roy Barrett.
That was number 10. Who called that? Number 10, Michael Bullock was the one that was, no, it wasn't his Michael Bullock getting ready to report in. I'm looking at the wrong. Yeah, it was Roy Barnett who got the foul on for the Bruins, number 10. I looked at the wrong 10.
Player control foul. Scramble for the ball inside, and Mr. Johnson comes away with the basketball. Play being set up by Rodney Berry, the point guard. In the corner, Incremenus. They'll kick it back outside. This is Roy Barrett. Again, Incremenus from the corner, good.
Bethel's on a roll, and they are very confident in their own gym. But the press definitely has Hampton confused.
Good play inside, apparently, but a foul detected on the play.
That's the referee, Bob Cockrell, that made that call. He called a foul on Theo Johnson on the block. He was a little too powerful. You can try to be an intimidator, and that'll get you a foul whether you foul or not.
It looked like a good clean block, but apparently Theo Johnson got him with the body, and that was probably the call. At the free throw line is Anthony Bell. Bell cannot get it to go down. 5:16 remaining in the first quarter, 14-2, as the Bethel Bruins have jumped out to a fast start. After we are tied at 2, Bethel has reeled off 12 to this point unanswered points, and still unanswered points. As 0 for 2 at the free throw line was Bell. Play number 1 being called by Ronald Berry. This calls for Incremenus inside, good.
Well, I'm trying to pick up the defense that the Hampton Crabbers run, but they're leaving a man open on the baseline, and I know that they got to be confused. Walter, I would just call timeout for the Hampton Crabbers because it's 16-2, and you can't get behind 14 points when you're playing another team on their home court.
As a former coach, Bob, would you perhaps might have called the timeout a little sooner? Maybe
I would have called the timeout when it was 10-2.
I was curious myself, certainly not to second guess Coach Brower, but I was curious myself. I might have taken that timeout for no other reason than to settle the team down a little bit.
Right. Sometimes you just got to burn a timeout, get them over there to say, hey, let's do a game plan. Let's do what we have practiced all week. And come out there and execute. You're out there. They're running around like a chicken with a head cut off. They're not playing heads-up basketball. They're being intimidated by that 1-3-1 half-court trap.
There you see. While we have an opportunity, there you were watching some of the banners that are hung here in the gymnasium. Of course, attesting to the success of the athletic program here at Bethel High School over the years.
Well, I got one comment here from Steve Wright, a statistician. Bethel has shot 9 times and made 8 of them. And if they continue that, there's going to be a tremendous score on that board. The Crabbers have only shot 2 times.
Crabbers will have the ball now. 4:54 left here in the first quarter.
And they didn't have any trouble breaking that press that time because they didn't look excited. They just took their time.
Nice move inside as we were watching Ronnie Blackman make the attempt, then follow his own shot, which you don't see a lot of good players do. A lot of times they'll fade back, kind of heading back down court, and that time he followed his shot very well, got his own rebound and put it in.
That's very important. That's a hard thing to teach.
Johnson has it knocked away. It's still loose. And it's flipped around and finally is lost out of bounds by the Bruins. Bethel appeared to be playing a little bit out of control that time.
Just a little bit out of control. Theo is a tremendous athlete. Talking about Theo Johnson, number 44 for the Bruins. He had 3 no-hitters last year pitching for the baseball team. So he's a 2-team sport, but it's not like playing football and then basketball.
From deep in the corner, Anthony Bell breaks the scoring column. That's 2 points for him. And a holding call is whistled against Bell on the play. Player control foul. The Bethel Bruins will have the ball inbound.
Hampton's got to get a couple quick turnovers here and get some points back on the board so that they're not behind by double figures.
Carmenius looks inside. Now it comes to Johnson. Wants to go on 1-1. One dribble. Up and no good. Gets his own rebound. Knocked away momentarily. Strong to the basket.
He's very tenacious when he gets close to the board. He's going to get his 20 points, so you got to shut off everybody else and block him off. Don't let him get his second shot. Don't let him get that rebound.
He is so strong. For 15, no good. Rebound comes out, however. Travers left-handed one-hander for Anthony Bell as the left-hand one shot.
And Hampton is in a 2-2-1 a full court trap, but it didn't do any good. Bethel didn't have any trouble breaking it.
18-8, Bethel on top. Turnover, basket comes back down. Good block. Follow-up shot is good.
And that's the kind of athletic ability that Theo Johnson has. He went up and blocked that shot. That was a tremendous. I didn't think he'd have any chance of blocking it from the left hand, but he got a piece of that ball.
Good follow-up by Ronnie Blackman. He has 4 points. It's 18-10 now in favor of Bethel. 2:35 remaining here in the first quarter. This is Johnson. Gets a pick. Now looks outside again. Top of the key. Back to Johnson. Johnson traveled.
The key with the Bethel team is going to have to be, don't look for Johnson. They're all going to have to go out and look for their own shot too. And you notice that time Theo was just taking a one-on-one. It's hard to do that against a zone.
Shot is up. It doesn't go, but going to the free throw line will be Ronnie Blackman. And we'll have some substitutions now for the Bruins. We'll try and pick up those substitutions for you as quickly as we can. Coming out of the ball game for Hampton is Will Jeter, and he is replaced in there by number 42. That's David Keeter.
Keeter for Jeter.
Keeter for Jeter, there you go. Okay. Darrell Weaver, number 30, checks in for Bethel. And out of the ball game is Roy Barrett as...
And number 12 for Bethel is also checked in.
Number 12 would be Rod Ellis. First one is good by Blackman. He's got 5 points. 5 of the Hampton 11.
They've got a chance to cut it to 6 points, which they do, and that's very important is to get that thing down to at least a single digit by the end of the first quarter.
Leading by the score of 16-2 at one time. So now the Crabbers have come back with 10 points to 2 for the Bethel Bruins. They go back into the zone defense.
Oh, I see what they're doing. They're running a box and one. They're going man-to-man against Theo Johnson, and everybody else is playing a zone. Number 32 for the Crabbers is playing a man-to-man.
And
that's
coming up with the ball is Michael Bullock, the quarterback for the basketball team, comes up with a steal at the top of the key. Blackman.
Now watch him.
A 4-point game.
Right, and you look at number 32, he is full. He's playing man-to-man with Johnson. Everybody else is playing his zone. It's almost like a diamond or a box and one.
Inside of a minute and a half to go in the first quarter. 18-14, Bethel on top by 4. Try to get the ball inside, they do. Underneath the basket too far was Incremenius. And now the shot is good, and he's fouled. as Robert Jones will get a chance for a three-point play. Foul is whistled down on Cypress Boyd. Check that. Daryl Weaver got the basket. Correct myself on that, it was not Blackman. And the foul is charged to Anthony Bell.
We've got substitutes coming in and out, and I'm glad it's your responsibility to keep up with them.
I was just going to talk to you about that. I'm giving the points to the wrong players here. Daryl Weaver gets the three-point play, and it's 21-14 in favor of Bethel. This is Keeter, off-balance shot, no good. Rebound comes off, up, no good. Battle for the rebound in the corner, and finally controlled by the Bruins. Taken away on a good defensive play, up and no good. Right now there's a lid on the basket, but finally Ronnie Blackman finds the basket for the Crabbers.
And that was a nice shooter. That could have been a 4-point swing right there. They didn't get the basket and then end up stealing it and getting it, and that cut it down to 5.
21-16. A little more than a half a minute remaining. And we've got a traveling call. Turn the ball over, 30 seconds.
They cut it to 3 points here with before the end of the half. I'm sorry, the end of the first quarter. This game has been very exciting so far. The other 3 quarters are like this first one. It's going to be all right.
We've got a foul inside. This one will be on number 32. That's Ronnie Blackman.
And that is a one-on-one situation, and that's the young man Weaver goes to the line who made that 3-point play just a minute ago.
Now they're going to have Theo Johnson at the free throw line.
That's a nice move.
He'll be shooting the 1-and-1.
I think he was on the other side of the basket.
He won't get the bonus. The ball is tipped around and finally controlled by the Crabbers. I thought we were going to have a lap full of players.
I was hoping AG would pick that ball up as they was coming by here.
That's the second time. I want hazardous duty pay if I'm going to be down this close to the court. Inside of 10 seconds to go. Keeter kicks it out. Blackman will shoot. Off the rim, no good. Keeter with a good quick rebound. There's a little bit of time left.
That was a good move from Keeter's part.
So David Keeter got the rebound and without even hesitating put it back up because he knew they were down inside of 3 seconds, which turned out they had just time to get that one up, but no more after that. So at the end of one quarter, the Crabbers, who trailed 16-2 at one point in the first quarter, fought back and only trailed by 5 points here at the end of one quarter.
Well, I know the Coach Bauer's got to be very happy with his team after being down as far as they were to only be down 5 points. And the arrow points to the Bruins. So the Bruins will have the ball to start the second quarter. But I'm very surprised. I talked to both the assistant coach and the varsity coach, and they said they were going to go slow tempo. And this isn't slow tempo tonight. I guess they're not giving me the straight poop.
You know, last year when we did a game here at Bethel, we were told it would be a slow-down game. And if I remember correctly, it was so fast, neither one of us could keep up.
That's right. It was against when Phoebus Phantoms came over and played Bethel last year. That was like racehorses.
Absolutely.
But Bethel was very did a good job with their pressure defense and really got a quick lead, and I'm very surprised they dropped back off of it. I noticed number 24 was getting some cold spray put on his foot. Ronald Berry, the starting guard for the Bruins, he was brought up off the JV team. He started JVs this year, and he's been starting, but it looked like he twisted an ankle or something, but I see he's putting his shoe back on.
Okay, we're set to go with the second quarter. Leading scorer was Theo Johnson with 8 in the first quarter, followed by Incremedius with 6. And Johnson boots it out of bounds. And rounding out the scoring for Bethel was Rod Burley with 4 points, 3 points for Daryl Weaver. For the Crabbers, they were led by Ronnie Blackman with 8 points, 4 points for Anthony Bell, 2 points each for Dunn and Jones.
I believe that box and one defense that the Hampton are doing is kind of shaking Theo up a little bit. He's not as free as he was against the zone.
With a player of his caliber, you really have to do that, I think.
You sure do.
Good position by Blackman inside. Gets the roll.
Nice, got a nice roll on that.
So it's 21-18. The scoreboard does not reflect. There it goes. I started to say the scoreboard didn't reflect that basket. 3-point ball game.
They're playing a straight man-to-man now, Hampton is.
This is Theo Johnson. Over for Incremenius. This is a new player in the game, Jeff Royster, number 21. And finally, Roy Barrett handles it. Johnson guarded closely. Inside, Johnson, no good. Rebound, up, yes.
He stays after that ball. Young man hit the ball on the way up, and he still was able to get the shot off.
He's so strong, as I mentioned before. Johnson now with 10 points in the first half. Blackman, no good. And Incremenius clears the boards for the Bruins. 23-18, 6 minutes and 25 seconds remaining here in the first half. Double teaming the ball tipped around, and is finally controlled by the Crabbers. Nice pass. My heavens, what a beautiful pass that was.
It really was, and if he had gone up with his right hand on this side of the basket, he would have probably not, if somebody would have either fouled him or blocked the shot.
Well, that's Anthony Bell again. That shows why he averages almost 20 points a game. It was a fine move. That was a super pass. Turnaround jumper is a little bit strong, but we've got a foul inside. Well, we'll have some wholesale substitutions here. Thanks a lot.
You got them all, right? I can tell you one, that Jeter's in for Keeter. Okay, we got that one in.
Jeter's back in for Keeter, all right? For the Hampton Crabbers, checking in, Brian Hollis, number 12, his first appearance in the ballgame. See if we can pick up the lineup for the Crabbers. They have Michael Bullock, number 10, in the ballgame. Of course, Michael Bullock, the very talented quarterback for the state champion Hampton Crabbers. The pleasure that we had of bringing those games back to Hampton through the playoffs and the finals was something I'll never forget. I certainly enjoyed it immensely.
It was a thrill beyond description to watch these young men go right through the playoffs, right, and win that state championship.
And Burley gets both of his free throws. It's 25-20. Bethel on top, 5:50 remaining in the first half.
And they're back at the press. But they went over the top of the press that time, which is one way to break it. You don't want to try to dribble through the press. You want to either pass or go over the top. I noticed number of 24, Barry, is limping a little bit out of there. I noticed he had hurt his ankle earlier.
Battle inside, and we've got a foul called.
You had mentioned earlier about young men playing football and then playing basketball. It does make it's a different type of conditioning. You don't get, your basketball legs are different than football legs. And I know that the Hampton coach had problems at the first of the year of a lot of his players, Bullock and Jeter and a few others, and Chrome coming from football into basketball. They just didn't have the timing and everything.
That was the discussion I wanted to get in with you. Hopefully we'll have a timeout to expand on that just a little bit. As in the ballgame now, Mike Robinson, number 52, 6'7", replacing Andre Dunn for the Crabbers. This is Bullock from the top of the key. Nice roll. Michael Bullock gets his first points of the game. And it's a 3-point Bethel lead, 25-22. Just inside of 5 minutes to go in the first half. A little bit too strong as the pass.
It really was too strong. I think Theo Johnson for the Bruins are coming back in, replacing number 12 for the Bruins.
We got a swinging door here. Ronnie Blackman comes back in. He replaces Brian Hollis. Jeter comes out. I don't see Keeter. So I think we must have Donnell Stewart in the ball game, number 20, one of the starters who came out of the ball game early in the first quarter. This is Bullock at the top of the key, looking inside. Robinson, the big man, has the ball. Turn around, up, and a traveling call on Robinson. been a while since I've seen the high school men's or high school boys basketball team. They're still making them pretty big around here. Some of these guys are really big.
They will look down at you and I.
Yes, they will. In the corner, Johnson. Guarded closely by Ronnie Blackman. Blackman knocks the ball away, but it's retrieved. Bruins have it inside. Easy basket. As Brian Hollis, check that, not Brian Hollis, but Rod Ellis will get the basket. 5-point Bethel lead. Bullock from 17, no good. Robinson has it, fades away, little one-hander, no good. Tipped around, and last touch by the Crabbers. Now Keeter comes back in, and he'll replace Donnell Stewart in the lineup for the Crabbers. It's one thing about basketball in difference to football. They don't make quite as often substitutions in football.
They really don't. Every time that clock stops, it's like a swinging door. We got 2 or 3 people going in and out of the ball game.
You know, during the football season, we talk about the chess games that materialize, and that's what we're seeing out here. We're
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hampton will put somebody in, and Bethel will counter with somebody they think can stop them.
Incorminas a little short on the jumper from the corner, and Mike Robinson clears the boards for the Crabbers. Crabbers with a chance to cut the lead to 4. They'll check that 3 if they can get a basket. This is David Keeter, open for a moment. Michael Bullock looks inside.
Bethel just playing a standard 2-3 zone. They put pressure on the ball, but they're not going to trap out of that 2-3 zone at all. So the coach told me.
David Keeter gets his first bucket of the night. 27-24, 3-point game for the Bruins. And a foul call. That's the foul as a coach drives you crazy. Anytime you reach in like that, what's going to happen?
And if you get the ball clean, they will probably still call the foul. It's just.
What is the theory behind that, Bob? I already know. I just thought maybe you as a coach might know.
I don't know why you try to teach the kids don't reach. Play defense with the bottom part of your body, with your feet. If you play defense with your feet, you're not going to get in foul trouble. If you play with your hands, you're going to get in foul trouble because you reach. An official is going to assume that you got a hold of the young man, and that's.
Well, that's what I was trying to get you to say, because you and I talked about this before. When a man reaches around, even though he may get the ball cleanly, the official is going to almost every time rule he had to touch him with the body.
Right.
So the call will go against the defensive player almost every time. Now, if you can tip away from directly behind, that's a different story. But reach around, you're going to get a call.
That's for sure.
29-24, the ball goes out of bounds off the hands of Rocky Chrome, who's back in the ball game for the Crabbers.
That was just a bad pass. When I was coaching, you used to tell the kids, if you don't want somebody to catch the ball, throw it at their feet, because they're not going to catch it, and that's what happened now. And that's one of those unfortunate turnovers.
Crabbers right now have 2 of their big men in. They got Robinson and Dunn in there for some extra height. We got a whistle and a foul.
It was a good fake that Blackman put on that time, because it sure looked like he was going to pass the ball off.
Foul is whistled against Ronald Berry.
The way the cameras are set up, the fans can't see the coaches, but the coaches are sitting in their chairs, and they're not standing up at all. And this is a lot different than when I coached. I used to stand up and scream and rant and rave. If a coach stands up, he gets a technical. So they got to stay in the seats. And we had a quick look at Mike Bailey, there he is right there, the Bethel coach, and he's got to stay in his seat. He can't get up.
That's a little bit harsh. Is that
That's
just
tough.
A little bit extra to keep him under control, or?
Well, it's basically for crowd control. A coach can incite a crowd by his actions, and this is one thing that the high school league is trying to do, and it's a good thing. The coaches are still doing a good job sitting down. It's just a little harder. You can't orchestrate as well as you could standing up.
Hampton with a chance to cut the lead to 1 now with the basket, trailing 29-26. A little more than 2.5 minutes to go. Good steal. Theo Johnson knocked the ball away and then was able to keep it in bounds, and a backcourt foul is whistled down on Brian Hollis.
And that's the kind of foul you don't want to see. You just turn the ball over. You don't want to put Bethel on the foul line, and that's what they're doing. But you're right, that's a big turnover because they could have cut it to 1 point, and now they could be down by 5.
At the free throw line, Ronald Berry, number 24, has 2 points so far tonight. Make that 3. If these guys are at the bottom of the rung, and they are, I'd like to see the top of the league here. These guys play real fine ball. And if you haven't been out to see a high school game in a while, you might want to make a chance to do so.
You should do it. If nothing else, to get to the tournament when it comes up, you'll see some good basketball.
Hampton breaks the press. Andre Dunn off the rim, no good. Dunn gets his own rebound, puts it up inside, it's a little too strong. Robinson, no!
Well, there is a lid on that basket. There's 3 inside shots.
3 that look like we're going to go for sure, and not a one of them. 31-26, inside of 2 minutes to go in the first half. Out to Johnson, top of the key. Tries to put a fake on Blackman. Now decides to pass outside.
Blackman's doing a good job defensively on him. Nice rebound, nice tap.
Nice tap by Rodney Burley inside as he got good position and one-handed that ball in on the rebound. 33-26, so the Crabbers basket counts.
That's Blackman that got that basket. He's got a chance for a 3-point play.
Theo Johnson called for the foul. That's at least 2 on him. Blackman with a chance to cut that lead back to 4 now. They were down with a chance to cut it to 1 earlier. Bethel pulled back out in front by 7. Now it's down to 5 with a chance to make it 4. Blackman with 14 points here. Make that 15 here in the first half.
We haven't had many timeouts. In fact, I think we've only had that one timeout that called in the first quarter when Hampton got so far behind.
A fast-paced ball game. From 15 feet, Roy Barrett gets on the score column. 35-29. There you see Barrett. Eater's pass inside is tipped out of bounds by one of the Bruins.
Well, you notice that the Hampton is trying to get the ball inside. They really got a height advantage over the Bruins, but the Bruins are real good leapers. And they can get up as high and play as tall as the taller Crabbers.
Theo Johnson checks out for the Bruins. Coach Bailey does not want him to get another foul before the second half starts. Heater looks inside, back to Bullock. Inside for the big man Robinson. Robinson good.
Well, that cut it to 4 again.
Mike Robinson gets his first basket of the ball game. Wide open is Incremenius, and he gets it stuffed by Blackman. Blackman said, "In your face," and threw the ball right back to him.
I think Incremenius made it change his mind. He was going to shoot it and changed and started to pass. And Blackman was right on him, and Theo Johnson's right back in.
Playing with at least 2 fouls that I have him down for. He may have more, but I doubt it. If he had 3, he'd certainly not be in there. I'm surprised to see him in there, period. Johnson, tip up, no good. Still loose. Finally controlled by the Crabbers. Thrown away, Incremenius. Johnson throws it away. Scramble for the loose ball, and it goes out of bounds. Hampton's ball.
They have 15 seconds to go, and that was quite a scramble because the Bruins could end up putting a 6-point lead on them, and now the Crabbers can come down, take 1 shot, and hopefully get it within 2.
4 seconds. Blackman from 17, yes.
And that is the end of the first quarter, or first half of play.
So a real fast-paced ball game here in the first half, as you said, Bob, only 1 timeout. And other than the quarter break, that was it, as we saw a quick burst by the Bethel Bruins, jumped out on top 16-2, and then the Crabbers got their act together with a timeout. A good call by the coach Brower to call a timeout. And they got back in the ball game, and it's only a 2-point game at halftime.
And I know that Coach Bauer's got to be real tickled with it because they did play out of control that first quarter, but to only be trailing by 2 points, that's good because with about 2 minutes to go, they were down by 7, Tim. and they're only down by 2, so this game is still up. I just want to expand just a minute before we break for a halftime on the having football players play basketball. If you notice that on one of the walls that they have Bethel Bruins won the football state championship in 1974, I was coaching basketball here at that time. What they allowed me to do was to reschedule my first 4 basketball games so that I could get the guys and work with them and get them out of the football mode into a basketball mode, if you will. And they did not let the Hampton Crabbers do that. They had to go out ahead and start, and it's really tough coming from football going right to basketball. It's completely different type of conditioning. Your legs aren't the same because you're running all the time. In football, you walk over, you stand in the huddle, and it's really a lot different. But these young men out there tonight are a lot different than they were in the Christmas tournament when I saw Jeter and Bullock and these guys that play football they look like they're in control, and they've got their basketball legs on.
And this, of course, has to be a detriment to the basketball organization of Hampton High School. They went all the way to the state finals, so not only did they miss that practice time, but as you said, the lack of the ability for the team to play as a team in practice even that early in the season has to set their program back for some time into the regular season.
Oh, absolutely. It really has to. We have some halftime statistics if you want to go over real quick, Tim. These are the turnovers we got. This is the Bethel turnovers. This is the Hampton turnovers.
Well, Hampton only turned the ball over 8 times, while the Bethel Bruins turned it over 12. And I've got some unofficial stats here. I will give you before we break for the halftime. The Hampton Crabbers were led by Ronnie Blackman with 17 points in the first half. Anthony Bell averaging almost 20 points a game, held to but 6 in the first half. And then after Blackman and Bell, there was only 2 points scored by each of Dunn, Jones, Keeter, and Mike Robinson. For the Bethel Bruins, they were led for 10 points by Theo Johnson, and he was pretty well shut down after they got him going there. He had 62% of his shots in the first half. 8 points for Rod Burley, 2 points for Roy Barrett, 4 points for Ronald Berry, 2 points for Rod Ellis, and 3 points for Darrell Weaver on a 3-point play. There you see it, the score and the fans at halftime. Bethel 35, Hampton 33. We'll be back with the second half of action after this brief timeout. Tim Cole with Bob Hintz and A.G. Womble back here at the Bethel Bruin Gymnasium just before the start of the second half.
Tim, I had a chance to talk to Coach Brower just before the start of the second half. He indicated that when at that break at 16-2, when they were down 16-2, he indicated to them they had to be a little more physical and block out on the boards, and he says that that's going to be the key if they win tonight.
Well, obviously something worked because they really turned it around after trailing by 14 to only trail by 2 at halftime. Crabbers have the ball with a chance to tie. The ball comes off. Incremedius quickly down court. And a good play by Roy Barrett as he gets his second basket of the ball game. And it's a 4-point Bethel lead, 37-33. Bethel led by Theo Johnson's 10 points in the first half. Blackman shoots no good. Blackman led the Crabbers with 17 at halftime.
The Hampton Crabbers are a bigger team out there, Tim, but they're being out-rebounded by the hustle of the Bruins, and that's what the AG was referring to. They're going to have to get more physical under the boards.
Andre Dunn, easy play. Made it look easy.
He's a young man, just became eligible for the Crabbers after the end of the first semester, and I know they were really glad to get him.
Back to a 2-point game. Jeff Royster, number 21, starts the second half for Bethel. Out on the court with him is Rod Burley, number 33, Theo Johnson, number 44. 32 is Miguel Incremidis. Roy Barrett, number 10, rounds out the lineup for the Bethel Bruins. Inside, one pass too many as Blackman had a good open shot. Down the court very quickly, in for the easy layup is Barrett. So he's got 2 easy layups here in the second half.
And that's caused by turnovers. The Hampton was turning the ball over, and the Bruins are just getting down the court.
One guard is Michael Bullock, set the lineup for the Crabbers in the corner. That's Anthony Bell that faked the shot a moment ago. Inside it goes for Mike Robinson. He has the easy basket as well.
That was a nice pass from Bullock. Bullock is more of a scoring guard, and Kroom is more of a floor general on the team, but they're playing a man-to-man, and Bethel is just doing some figure eight and switching and down at the baseline. That was a nice shot by Incremenus.
8 points for Incremenus. To complete that Hampton lineup, they've got Robinson and Dunn, the big man inside. Bell 22 along with Bullock as the ball is tipped away and controlled by the Bruins. This is Jeff Royster, and he'll hold it up as the Bruins get down court. 41-37, 5:45 left in the third quarter. Bethel on top by 4. Theo Johnson fakes, shoots from 14, no good. And this is Robinson inside. Crabbers want to run with the ball, and it's a little bit too long for Andre Dunn. So Dunn can't quite get to that pass. And we'll see Bell come out of the ball game for the Crabbers, along with Mike Bullock. Checking in for the Crabbers, Rocky Chrome, number 14. And number 20 is Donnell Stewart for the Crabbers. 41-37, 5:23 left the third quarter. Bethel leading by 4 points. Incremenus can't get it to go. Robinson had the ball, battled for it, and will have a jump ball. The possession will belong to the Bethel Bruins, so they'll trigger the ball out of bounds. Royster brings it inbounds for Miguel Incremenus. Turnaround jumper, no good. And the Crabbers now can cut that lead to 2.
Well, they floor general out there, number 14, Rocky Kroom has got it. He's the one that sets up and runs their offense.
Kicked out of bounds by Royster. It'll still belong to the Crabbers. Blackman is leading the scoring for Hampton with 17, and Anthony Bell is not in the ball game and didn't play a great deal of the first half. He's only got 6 points. Andre Dunn has it knocked away, and it'll belong to the Crabbers.
The pace of this game has really slowed down a little bit better, and this is the pace that Mike Bailey said that he wanted. But it seems to be favoring Hampton right now because they're staying in the game.
Left-handed, no good. Robinson, strong rebound, can't get the roll. And is finally cleaned off by the Bethel Bruins, Rod Burley. Pass too long. Roy Baird needed a ladder to get to that one. He couldn't quite get to the basketball. And we see Anthony Bell come back in. And
he's anxious to get back in because he wants to get some points and help this team out because he is their, if they have a designated shooter, he would be the designated shooter.
He's been fairly quiet until just now.
Boom. I mean, he got the ball. He came off the bench. He was cocked and ready to fire. Well, that's another one on...
That's 3 on Theo Johnson. And Bethel Bruins now, with 4:20 to go in the third quarter, will call a timeout. And the Bruins lead by a scant 2 points, 41-39.
It is an interesting game. The way it started off, it looked like the Bruins were going to just blow Hampton out, and Hampton settled down after that timeout, and are starting to do some things offensively that they should have been doing in the first half. I think it's going to be a contest that's going to go right down to the wire. We saw the end of the JV contest went down to the wire. In fact, went into overtime. The Bethel girls kind of blew away that game. They just outclassed the Hampton's girls. But this is going to be a good contest. Hampton is right now is number 7 in the standings, and Bethel's number 8. And the top 8 teams go to the tournament, so it's very important for both of these teams, especially Bethel. Bethel wins, and that kind of puts the pressure on Phoebus to win a couple games to force a playoff. So Bethel really needs this win to make sure that they get that berth in the district tournament.
AG was kind of like a spy in the midst there. I noticed him over there listening in on the Hampton strategy.
Well, Tim, I was trying to pick up. I couldn't hear too much, but it looks like we're in for another barn burner. And if we go into overtime now, you guys will get paid overtime as well.
All right. I like that.
And we got that on tape.
The Bruins get the ball on the turnover. Royster inside is fouled.
As AG and I were talking about the first half, number 24, Ronald Berry, was kind of limping, and I haven't seen him yet, AG. He hasn't come back in the ball game.
4:09 remaining in the third. Robinson, the big man, guarding the inbounds pass. This is Jeff Royster, number 21.
They're in a 2-3 zone. That's what the coach was yelling out. Get into a 2-3 and stay.
Rome comes up with the ball for the Crabbers. Over for Bell. No good. Andre Dunn crashes the board but can't come up with the ball. So the Bruins get it back. Crabbers had a good chance to tie the ball game that
sure
time.
Did. That would have been a kind of a barrier. They were tied at 2-all, and Hampton has not led at all in this game. So if Hampton could at least tie it, then they would have a chance to take the lead, and that's what they're trying to do right now. Is they've got the ball.
Rome checks out of the ball game now. Blackman is back in. Blackman, Bullock, and Bell, along with the big men Dunn and Robinson for the Crabbers. Blackman fakes, shoots, whistle, travel.
Oh, he called it travel.
So the basket will not count as there was a traveling call against Blackman before the shot.
And I know they were hoping for a foul on that whistle so they could have got a three-point play, but they caught him moving his feet.
David Keeter checks in the ball game, replacing Mike Robinson for the Crabbers. Little more than 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. 41-39, Bethel on top by a single basket.
Hampton just patiently playing that 2-3 zone. They're going to try to make Bethel make a mistake.
Ball knocked away, finally retrieved. And up a little strong, good block. And the ball comes down. Blackman has the ball, and he is fouled from behind by Rod Burley. So the Crabbers now will once again have a chance to tie the score.
This will be about the third chance they've had to tie it, so let's see if they can come away with it this time. Now Bethel is playing a man-to-man.
Anthony Bell from 18.
He's the shooter. He's the one you want to get the ball in when he's hot. Get it in his hands.
Bell has 10 points now. Had 6 in the first half, 4 in the second. Ball knocked away by Bell. Good play as he throws it on court for Bullock. Bullock has the ball roll off the rim. Andre Dunn rebound, no good. Dunn has it knocked away.
What a fantastic block. I know, but Hampton knew they had that other 2 points. They just knew it. And Rodney Burley did a beautiful job of blocking that shot. You can see some of the stands. We have got quite a packed house here tonight.
So the Crabbers will keep possession now and a chance to go ahead. Blackman looks inside. Now it comes outside for Bullock. A lot of movement by the Crabbers. This is Anthony Bell. Drives the baseline up. No good. And we got a whistle. A goaltending.
Yeah, it hit. Once the ball hits the backboard, you can't touch it. And that's what happened that time. And that's why they got. And that's the first time that the Crabbers have the lead tonight.
So Anthony Bell gets points 11 and 12 and puts the Crabbers on top by 2. 1:45 left in the third quarter. Burley guarded closely by Dunn. Inside. And on the foul, going to the free throw line will be Roy Barrett.
You can see that the intensity of the Hampton defense has really increased here once they got the lead. They're thinking, hey, we can do something out here, so let's go play a little defense. Because you notice they got the lead because of the defense. They caused the turnover and went down and got the basket. It's really funny to watch the momentum change and switch from team to team and the intensity on the ball players out there.
Barrett with 2 shots. Comes up short with the first. Anthony Bell picked up that foul, and he is checked out of the ball game.
Right up there, right up there.
So 1 of 2 for Barrett. As Robinson checks back in for the Crabbers, David Keeter comes out.
No, Dunn's coming out. Dunn's coming out. They switched. They brought Andre Dunn came out instead of Keeter.
Todd Branch, number 5, is in the ballgame now for the Bethel Bruins. That's his first appearance. 43-42. The Crabbers with a 1-point lead, trying to stretch that out a little bit. Ball was intended inside for Robinson and knocked out of bounds by Rod Burley.
Well, that number 5 that's just checked in for the Bruins, the guard, is because their other young man, number 24, evidently has got a hurt ankle, and he's been the floor general.
Stewart's shot, a flat one, is off the rim. Didn't get the arch on that ball, and the Bethel Bruins now will bring it down with a chance to regain the lead.
That's a lack of patience.
From 15, Incrementus. 10 points for Miguel Incrementus, and the Bruins regain the lead now, 44-43. Bullock is fouled on the blocking foul to Todd Branch. A good call.
I'm very surprised I haven't seen Will Jeter in the ball game. He played a good game the first half, but I have not seen him in the second half. I don't know whether he's hurt or not.
Crabbers looking to regain the lead. 35 seconds to go, third quarter. And the ball just simply thrown away as Blackman had thought that Dunn was going to break away from the bat, or rather Robinson, and just threw the ball away. I couldn't start to call that action.
There's two. Oh!
Basket counts.
Theo didn't want that thing until it was the last second. That was quite a struggle to see who was going to get that last shot off.
Well, right at the buzzer, with the ball in the air, the buzzer sounded, and Theo Johnson got his 12th points of the ball game to put the Bethel Bruins on top after 3 quarters of play by the score of 46-43. There you are looking into the huddle with head coach Mike Bailey of the Bethel Bruins. Smiling a little bit. He's got to be kind of pleased that that last one went in. There's a good close-up of Coach Bailey.
We don't have a microphone over there, so we can't listen to what he's saying, but he is telling us to you, I know, if you run your offense and do the things that we've been doing, especially the first half, we can win this ball game, but you're going to have to execute. You can't go out there and run helter-skelter. And, of course, he's telling what offense, and now we're looking into the Hampton Crabber huddle there, and maybe A.G. is getting an earful. A.G., what do you hear?
Coach Brower, I think, was very upset about Bethel getting about 4 or 5 shots there just before the buzzer, and he thinks that blocking out is the key to this game. Of course, I think Coach Bailey's happy, but I might take this opportunity to say that Bailey, the job he's done with Bethel this year, turning this program around, we're all very proud of his efforts over there, regardless of the outcome of this game.
He's doing a good job, and he's got some the young men starting to get some confidence in themselves, and that's the key. Well, we got one more quarter, unless it goes into the overtime, Tim.
Just a brief reminder that we'll be doing yet another game on the 18th of February. We'll be at Phoebus High School for the game between the Warriors of Kecoughtan and the Phantoms of Phoebus. Hope you'll be out there to see that game in person. That's 2 weeks from tonight, the 18th of February at Phoebus High School. Ronnie Blackman gets his 18th and 19th points of the ball game. 46-45, Bethel by a point.
Hampton is in there man-to-man, and they're Bethel just plays a patient, and they'll get an open man.
Travers come up with a rebound. Chance to once again regain that lead. Travers trailed throughout the entire first 3 quarters up until about 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Have led by as many as a single point, and now are trying to get that lead back. it interesting how both Chrome and Bullock are the point guards and they're the quarterbacks on the football team?
It really is, but that's, if you got a guy that is a quarterback on a football team, he will be a quarterback on your basketball team because he's a leader out there. If you know, I don't know if any of the fans could tell, but Bethel packed that zone right back into the paint. There was not a whole lot of room. That's a tough call to call from the back official.
Foul goes against Mike Robinson. Looked like a pretty good block from our vantage point.
Yeah, it really did from this vantage point. And I'm sure that the Hampton coaching staff would agree with us that they thought that was a good block.
Of course, the officials right on top of the play. And at the free throw line, shooting 2 shots, is Rod Burley. He's got 8 points unofficially for tonight. There's a good shot of Rod Burley, number 33 for the Bruins. And Burley gets both free throws, and the Bethel Bruins are back on top. So now we've got a seesaw action here.
And they're back in there, 1-3-1, half, 3/4 court press.
Not that I think I need to remind anybody, but in high school you do not have a shot clock. I haven't touched on that subject tonight because we haven't really had a prolonged period of time when someone wasn't shooting the ball. Bad pass inside as the ball was thrown at the feet of Andre Dunn. And we got a traveling call as Dunn stomped his feet as Todd Brez was going by, and I think it startled him.
I think it did too, but that was it's not one of the defensive moves that you would call. Here comes Will Jeter. Evidently, he wasn't hurt because he's back in the game right now. He's playing one of the big men underneath, and he evidently figures Robinson is a little bit bigger and get better position underneath the backboard.
48-47, Bethel by a point. Hampton looks to take the lead. Inside feed goes for Jeter. He loses the basketball rather. Theo Johnson really ran over somebody, and now a technical is called on Bullock. I'm not sure Bullock didn't have some kind of case there. Johnson, who's a big, massive individual, really lowered his shoulder into somebody when he went down that lane. And it
really
looked
did.
like there was some stationary players there. I certainly wouldn't want to call the play myself.
No, I wouldn't either, but this is one thing you got to try to teach your kids. If you're upset, you got to turn away from the official. Don't let him know you're upset because he's going to call a technical. And it's just a one-shot technical, but then the Bruins will get the ball out of bounds, so it could be a 3-point play.
So Johnson is unable to convert the technical.
Well, there was no harm in that because the Bruins were going to get the ball out of bounds anyway on the foul. So the Crabbers lost nothing on that, which is fortunate.
Todd Branch, started by Chrome. Theo Johnson fakes Blackman out, and then also fakes his own teammate out as Icarinas thought that Johnson was going to go for the shot, and in fact threw it over his head. Again, the Crabbers with a chance to regain the lead, 48-47. There you see the score. 5:23 remaining. Another bad pass.
Bad passes. And it's because of the defense. Bethel's jumping out at Hampton, and they're just throwing bad passes. But that was a chance for them to take the lead again, Tim.
Nice play inside.
That was a good pass inside.
Rod Burley has 12 points.
And the Bruins are back in a 1-3-1 zone. Hampton's going to have to come out with a designated shooter. They're going to have to get their shooter in here because it doesn't look like anybody's looking to take the shot. They're just passing the ball, looking inside, but there's nobody looking to take an outside shot at all. And, of course, Anthony Bell is the one that they would want in there to take that outside shot.
Both teams are over the limit now, so on any foul, we'll have at least a 1-and-1. Dunn can't get it to go. Scramble for the ball, gets his own rebound, gets it again, puts it up right-handed, no good. And a foul inside. Getting rough in there.
It is getting rough, and he had 3 chances to make that basket, and he just couldn't. He just didn't know where he was when he went up for the basket, but he did a good job of hustling and getting that ball back each time. Looks like Will Jeter's going to the line because they are in a bonus situation now.
Rod Burley whistled down for the foul. Both teams over the limit. 1-and-1 coming up for Will Jeter. He misses that all-important first one, but the ball goes out of bounds off of Burley's hands. So the Crabbers will get the ball out of bounds in spite of the fact that they didn't convert on the first of 1-and-1. Crabbers trailing by 3. Blackman wants to get it inside to Dunn. The ball's knocked away, and we've got a foul.
I tell you, the Crabbers are doing what the coach tells them to do. He's telling them to get that ball inside, put some pressure on the Bruins, and try to get those easy shots, and they're picking up some fouls, and that's good that the coaches, they're doing what the coach wants them to do.
This is that time of the game when the free throw abilities become oh so important.
Oh, you're so right.
We got the 1-and-1 here. Andre Dunn just becoming eligible for the Hampton Crabbers. Was not eligible during the first semester. And Dunn gets the first of the 1-and-1. He's got 5 points on the night.
And this can bring him within 1 point, and it's going to be a close one right down to the wire, it looks like, Tim.
Second one falls off the rim, no good. So now it's a 2-point Bethel lead, and they've got the basketball.
And Hampton stays in there man-to-man.
Jeff Royster back in the ball game, replacing Todd Branch. Roy Barrett, Miguel Incrementus. Burley out for Johnson.
Johnson looks like he's trying to explode, getting ready to go somewhere, doesn't he?
Sure does. And Jeff Royster gets a timely basket for the Bruins. That's his first bucket of the night. 3:40 remaining, 52-48. Left-hander is no good. Got his own rebound, has it partially blocked. Dunn is knocked to the ground. And finally, coming up with the ball is Incrementus. The Bruins throw it away. Bell and Bullock check in for the Crabbers. Frome.
That's two scores right there. Both Bell and Bullock are both scores for the Hampton Crabbers.
Frome and Stewart come out of the game for the Crabbers. Bullock swings it. He's got Blackman on one wing, Bell on the left. Blackman gets the rebound. Inside, Dunn in heavy traffic, has it knocked away, gets it back, knocked away again.
A good job by Incrementus to knock that ball away the second time because he was going to go power to the basket and try to get that three-point play if he could.
Johnson guarded by Blackman, spins, 14-footer, in and out. And this is Bell, and a foul in the backcourt. Well, again, that was a good foul to be called on Bethel because they were going to see a 2-on-1 with an easy layup.
That's right.
So a smart foul by the Bruins.
But it puts the shooter on the line. But you make him make the two from the line rather than give him the layup. That's always a smart thing to do.
Anthony Bell with 12 points on the evening, coming into the game, averaging 19 and a half.
Very unusual to see your big man not being under the basket, but he should have got that rebound.
And Bell misses the first of the 1-and-1. Now, I wanted to comment about the officials tonight, Bob. It appears to me that they let the teams play, which I enjoy watching a game when they do that. knocked out of bounds on a good defensive play.
They are letting them play, and they're letting them play, but it's not getting out of control.
No, they're not calling the touch foul, which I feel is the way to go. It's my own personal preference, and other people might see it differently. I hate to see the touch foul called.
It just stops anything going. You can't get any consistency in a game when you call touch fouls. Well, now we're having a timeout. Maybe AG can get an ear in over here at halftime. I mean, it's timeout.
Well, Bob, looks like the Crabbers going to need a little offense here. They're not putting the ball in the bucket, and of course Bethel's not taking advantage of it to a great extent here. But the Crabbers need a little offense right now if they're going to make this thing go into overtime or something.
They definitely are, AG, and that's why I'm sure that the coach came in with Bell and Bullock, because they're the two scorers that he looks for. Tim, we're getting down close to the end now. We got 2:34.
Well, I want to expand just a little further on the officiating, because I think a lot of people are very critical of officials, and you and I have talked about this in football as well as basketball, is if the officials are consistent, if they call it consistently close or if they call it consistently loose, then the coaches can pattern their game after that consistency. It's when they get inconsistent, I think, that most coaches, and again, yourself, you might want to express your feelings.
That was the thing that hurt me the most, or even the players, because the players don't know what to do if you call a touch one time, the next time you don't call it. It takes away from your cohesiveness that you try to develop out on the floor, and some smooth flow of your offense and defense. And I agree. These two officials doing a super job. They are really being very, very consistent.
Let's give them another plug here, as it's Bob Cockrell and Jim Downey who have been the two officials. And in the earlier game, the girls' game, the same thing applied. They let the girls play. They didn't call every single foul. If they did, believe me, that game was a little rough the first game, and so is this one.
Yeah, it is.
Rough in a sense of malice, but it's rough in physical contact. But they've let it go, and that's the way I like to see it myself.
Right, but nobody's getting advantage.
Exactly. Tip up, no good. Andre Dunn, yes.
Yeah, that was a badly needed basket for Hampton. They really needed it. It would have been hurt to them if they came away empty that time down.
52-50, 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Johnson holds up. He's triple team. Now finds the open man, Incrementus.
Oh, nice look, nice look. He was triple teamed and still found the open man. That was just an outstanding pass by Johnson.
The assist to Johnson, the basket to Incrementus. 54-50. Bullock from 15, no. Burley had the rebound. It's fought for inside, and Johnson comes up with it for the Bruins. Jeff Royster guarded in the backcourt by Mike Bullock. Bullock reaches in, and a foul is called.
And that may not have been a bad foul, because I know what Bethel would have come down and run some time off the clock, because we're under about a minute 38 seconds to go. So, if he could have run off some time, that really puts pressure on the Crabbers, because they're 4 points down. So that wasn't a bad foul.
In a sense, too, you make them make it from the free throw line.
Absolutely.
What is your theory, Bob, as a former coach, about the call by some officials to, we have a timeout, so give me a chance to ask this question, give you a little thought, time to think about it, too. There has been discussion, particularly in the college ranks, of making all fouls called in the last 2 minutes automatic two-shot fouls.
Oh, yeah?
Because of the intentional nature of a lot of these things, when you're behind 4 or 5 points, you don't want the other team to burn the time off the clock. A lot of times you'll get away with a one-on-one type situation. You foul a man who's not a good free throw shooter, it's a great strategy. What's your feeling about it?
And I agree with it. That is a strategy which the coach needs to know who's a poor foul shooter, and that's who you foul. The two-shot foul is when a guy intentionally fouls a guy, and it's like malice. And it's not, I don't think it was designed in the last 2 minutes of a ball game, every foul to be a two-shot foul, because you're going to try to steal the ball. And if you bump the guy, that's not a two-shot foul, that's a one-on-one, and that's the way it should be. I agree with you that strategy the coaches use, and you see that Dean Smith and Bobby Knight and your good coaches use this all the time. That is part of their scouting report, to know who is the bad foul shooter, because that's the guy we need to foul if we go down and need to stop the clock.
The reason that, of course, that a lot of people advocate the idea of having the automatic two-shot foul is the game can be dragged on incessantly by this at times. You can count on the fact that someone's going to be fouled every time. I think I have to agree with you. I think that is part of the game as far as the strategy is concerned. If you intentionally foul the man, which they do have in the rule book, if I grab you without any attempt to get the ball, there is a 2-shot automatic foul.
Well, and one other point I need to make, that if you're a good offensive team, you pass the ball, a guy fouls somebody without the ball, that's an intentional foul. And that's why if you move the ball around, then you put pressure on him.
Free throw is missed, but the rebound by Rod Burley, a big rebound.
Big rebound, because that was a miss, and Hampton could have come down and cut it to 2.
Instead of a 4-point lead, it's a 6-point lead. From deep in the corner, Bell shot off the rim, no good. Blackman, yes.
The coach wanted to call timeout right then and stop the clock, but they didn't get it called.
Blackman cuts the lead to 4. Incorminas out for Royster. Looking inside for Burley.
As long as they pass the ball.
"55 seconds. That was a double dribble. The referee missed that one. And we've got a foul.
Good foul.
Good foul on Mike Bullock. Again, to prove those fine officials are not inhuman, they missed one a moment ago. They looked like a double dribble. And now we have another timeout call. This one by the Hampton Crabbers. 49 seconds to go.
Well, I have the chance to sit up in the stands with Willie Brown, who was used to be a Peninsula, well, he still is a Peninsula resident, but used to be referee Peninsula ball games, and ended up doing ACC and Southern Conference, and he says that one of the hardest things to do that you really got to work on as an official is to get good positioning. Because a lot of times if you get screened out, you can't see the shove or the double dribble or something like that. And you don't blow a whistle just because you think something, you better see it. And that time that you talked about in the double dribble, it was very possible one of the officials was just screened out and they just didn't see it.
Absolutely, and you know, you just can't see them all. Any official that tells you he never misses a call is not telling you all the truth.
Oh, I had one official told me, he said everything he called was right. And I said, what do you mean? He says, because what I say, that's what it is. Whether it is or isn't, that's what it is.
Let's see if AG got any insight as to what was going on in the Hampton huddle.
They want to score quick and call timeout immediately. That's what Coach Brower wants to do if they get the good shot.
Did they happen to say who they're going to try to get the ball to?
No, he was not picking anyone. Just he wanted them to take the best shot they had. First person had a good shot, go for it.
Yeah, that's the strategy he's supposed to do, is to score, stop the clock by calling a timeout. And of course they're down by 4 points right now and could be down by 6 depending on what happens on the foul line.
Just barely grazed the front of the rim. The Crabbers now with 45 seconds, trailing by 4 points. This is the gun in the corner. Bell, no good. Battle inside, and it comes up in the hands of Rod Burley. Theo Johnson all alone down the court. They didn't see him, however. And a foul inside.
I know they want to get the shot off, but that was a long shot. But that's your shooter. That's who you want to go to.
Unfortunately, that is the 5th foul on Anthony Bell. So he will be finished for this evening, and he ends the game with 12 points on his side of the score ledger. So he was in foul trouble a little bit here in the second half, and that kind of kept him out of the ballgame.
Yeah, I know the coach wanted him when they're going down there, and they wanted him, but Bethel can just really take it, put it out of reach right here with 2 foul shots.
First of the free throws good by Miguel Incorminas. And now Hampton wants to call timeout. They want to give Miguel a little time to think about this one and a chance again to set up some strategy here.
Well, you've got to go down, you got to score quick, and you got to call timeout. And I know that's what the coach is telling them. Regardless of what happens on this foul shot, Hampton's got to go down, score, call timeout. He's called 2 timeouts. I don't know if he's got any timeouts left. He may have 1 timeout, and that's it. And there's a good picture of Mike Bailey, the Bethel coach, talking to his players, telling them what to do.
Something we might even give it an opportunity here. We got them on the screen, the Bethel cheerleaders. We ought to give them a chance to be heard.
Absolutely. And there's Coach Bowers talking to his team in the Hampton huddle.
Hampton, as you mentioned, in that all-important race for the top 8 spots in the district, coming into this game at 4-7, they are the 8th team. Bethel at 2-10. If Bethel can win this game, they would certainly give themselves a chance at this thing. I want to remind you again, before we run out of time, I want to remind you, there you see one of the plaques here at Bethel High School. We will be doing another game, and that'll be on the 18th of this month, 18th of February, at Phoebus High School for the game between the King of 10 Warriors and the Phoebus Phantoms. And I hope you'll be out there to see that game in person and join us here on Channel 29. Free throw is no good. Trailing by 5, the Crabbers have to get a bucket fast. This is Blackman, and he does. Blackman with 23 points. 15 seconds. Time running out. Incrementus has the ball. Had a man open underneath, but he elects to throw it outside. And now a foul is called as the Hampton Crabbers desperately wanted to stop the clock.
Obviously, they didn't have any more timeouts because they would have called timeout as soon as they made the score down there.
Just 8 seconds remain. The foul on Blackman. He needed to get that foul, and they were desperately trying to catch up with someone to foul.
Now, if you look at that, that was very close to being an intentional foul.
But it really wasn't, so
they call it a 1-and-1. And again, I still have to go with that. I feel that.
There's the ball game. Well, a wild finish.
It really was. It was a tremendous game. I know the Hampton Crabbers are disappointed, but they did a good job coming back after being down as far as they were in that first quarter. But the Bethel Bruins came out and dictated the tempo, and that's what it counts. And AG is going to talk with the head coach of the Bethel Bruins, Mike.
Why don't we see if we can get him to do that? We won't even go to a break. We'll just
we won't even go to a break. We'll just go right to it. This is AG Womble going to be talking with Mike Bailey.
Thank you, Bob. Mike, first of all, congratulations, great win. You have to be happy with the effort tonight, and it helped you in the standings here in the Peninsula District.
Sure is. We told the kids early in the season we want to just keep coming up the ladder. Like we played Phoebus earlier, we were in last place, and we beat them, and then right now we're facing the last 3 ball games. We're facing teams above us. Ferguson's above us, and Lafayette, who we beaten early in the tournament, is in a situation right now. All those wins can propel us. We want to be able to get the best position for ourselves in the playoff situation. In other words, right now we feel we can end the season with 10 wins.
All right, Mike, you went up early, 16-2, but then the Crabber started playing a little more aggressively on the boards there.
Well, that's Hampton. Hampton never quits. Hampton, we told our kids inside, do you respect them? Yes. And I says, they're not going to quit on you. The ball game is not going to be decided in the first quarter. And that was evident in our ball game against Warwick the other night.
All right, you had a tremendous team effort tonight, and a couple guys were playing hurt there. Looked early in the first half, and Theo Johnson was playing great ball for both ends of the court.
Yeah, well, we stress TTC, meaning total team concept. Everybody's included in the offense. Everybody is included in our defense. They have certain responsibilities. We told the kids in halftime, we said we win together and we lose together, and that's been the key. Our togetherness has really been the factor of the second half of the season.
All right, well, Mike, congratulations again tonight. And listen, the great program you got going here at Bethel, and we're glad to have you here in the Hampton School Division.
Well, what I want to be able to say is I'm glad to be here. And remember what I said when I first got the job, the administration here with Coach Cause and our principals, Tom Bailey in particular, it's a great situation to work for, and I'm glad to be part of Hampton.
All right, we're glad to have you here, too.
Good job.
Okay, AG, thank you very much for that interview with head coach Mike Bailey, the winning coach tonight. Bethel Bruins move to 3-10 in the district, 6-11 overall. Crabbers fall to 4-8, 5-11 overall on the season. To recap very briefly for you, the scoring unofficially for the Bethel Bruins, they were led by Miguel Incrementus, who ended up with the high, check that, Rod Burley was 14 points, was the high score. Then Incrementus with 13, 12 points for Theo Johnson, 7 for Barrett, 3 each for, well, Darrell Weaver had 3, 4 points for Ronald Barry, 2 each for Royster and Ellis for the Bethel Bruins. For the Hampton Crabbers, they were led 23 points by Ronnie Blackman. 12 points for Anthony Bell, well below his 20-point per game average. 7 points for Andre Dunn. 2 points for Michael Bullock, 2 points for Brian Hollis. David Keeter had 2, and 4 points for Mike Robinson. And that rounds out the scoring for the Hampton Crabbers. So it's a hat trick tonight for the Bethel Bruins. They win all 3.
You won all 3, and that's what you hope you can do because it builds some consistency in your programs. The Bruins did a good job. They shot 50% for the team during the first half and 46 for the second. So that's a 48 for the game, and that's a tremendous shooting percentage. And the Crabbers end up 38 both first and second half. The turnovers were relatively even. 20 turnovers for the Bruins and 19 for the Crabbers. But I tell you, Tim, it was a good game, and people that don't get a chance to go out and see a good high school contest are really missing a tremendous sports spectacular. It's not a spectacular, but it is for the kids out there on the floor. But it's good, clean sports, and I know that they would enjoy it if they would get out and look at it.
Well, we'll hope that if you get a chance to see a high school game soon, that you'll take that opportunity to do so. We will be, again, cable casting the game on the 18th of February, and that game will be between the Phoebus Phantoms and the Kecoughtan Warriors, and we'll be at Phoebus for that game. Game time, as I understand it, will be 8 o'clock for that game. So, again, I want to thank you, Bob. Enjoyed doing the game with you, and look forward to many more.
Well, I enjoyed it too, and we enjoyed having AG with his comments tonight. And Scotty and his crew did a fantastic job as usual. And you can see as the crowd on the floor. I always enjoy working with you, Tim. You just make it so nice and easy.
Well, I thank you for that. Here you go. There's the final score, 57-54. Again, we thank you for watching. Hope you'll join us next time for high school basketball. Good afternoon, everybody.
They even got us on the tube tonight.
Short jumper off the glass doesn't go. Over the back, no call. The ball is loose and finally brought out. Artis, oh my goodness, nice pass. Doesn't go, but he was fouled.
That's an excellent pass. Knowing where your teammates are when you come.
The world's largest fly just flew in here. I just we'll give that to Sam.
That must have came over with the Soviets.
Here we go. Watch a little replay of the action here as we try and get back to reality here. This is Artis bringing the ball up. You're going to see a real nice pass here. Look at this, over his shoulder. And then a foul incurred that prevented the